Good morning, it's Leanne Phillipson coming to you from Sprout Right headquarters. It's been a little while since I've jumped on and done a live with you, so I wanted to come on today and talk about a topic that keeps on coming up. And it is how to deal with the picky eaters in your house. Now, I am going to talk about kids, even though there absolutely can be a lot of picky adults. So I'll save that for another topic because, let's just kind of keep it within the Sprout Right realm. So first of all, in my book, which you see over my shoulder, then yes, there's tons of information and support in there. But the questions that keep coming up is, how do I deal with my picky eater? And is this a problem for their development? And those are probably the biggest worries. You think, how can you live on air? What is it that you're taking in because you're not eating? And, we as parents feel better when our kids eat more. But so there's a few things there. It's a really big topic. Of course, if you have a picky eater, because you have a child who actually has developmental delays, or there's specific issues. Maybe there was, maybe your baby was born prematurely. Maybe there's something bigger going on than seeing a professional like an osteopath to make sure that gag reflex isn't a huge problem. An occupational therapist can help. So there's all sorts of other ways that you can deal with this situation, but I'm not going to talk so much about those today. Today I'm going to talk about some tips and some tricks that you can implement today and move forward with. And then also I want to talk to you a lot about how can this be sort of like reverse engineered? So we've got a picky eater, or maybe let's prevent the picky eater by making sure that your child, your toddler, your 2-year-old, your 6-year-old, however old your child is when you're dealing with this picky situation, is that they are nourished and that they're getting everything that they need. Our bodies do need to, let me just turn that off. Our bodies really do need to have nutrition for the stomach, to talk to the brain, to say, hey, I'm hungry. And also, of course, there's a lot of communication going on as soon as blood sugar levels really start to crash in anyone. And especially in kids, you're going to see the typical behavior where they're not going to listen to you, where they're going to end up on the floor. They're going to, just be doing the ultimate tantrum, which we all hear about. So those kind of things, we need to make sure that the kids are nourished. And if you know that your child has not eaten for a while and they're exhibiting this behavior, just know that you've got to get some good food into them as soon as possible. But we're going to look at this over like a 24-hour period. So it's really very important that we look at this in the big picture. So I'm going to try and keep this brief, but give you some really top tips while I'm on here live, and then I'll look into exploring this further depending on how you guys find this being useful. If you need a lot more tips, then I'll put together a lot more stuff for you. Or of course, you can always have a consultation or get my book, because there's lots in that, and also pre-order Sprout Right Family Food, which is coming out in the middle of July. So all that information is on Sprout Right social media, sproutright.com. If you don't have, just type down below and I'll put the link in there. You'll find a video where I did the big reveal on my new book. So it's available for pre-order, but you can't get it quite yet. So let's first talk about some top tips. Now, this is not necessarily how do you put the food down in front of your child and get them to eat it. There are some ways to do that, but there's a couple of things first. You need to look at your behavior as a parent. How is it that you are bringing yourself to a meal, to a situation? Are you being a short order cook is number one that I want you to look at. If your child is not eating what you put down in front of them, and then they kind of do a freak out, or they do a no, I don't want it, or they push it away, or all those kind of things, then what is your behavior? Do you take a step back and just sort of leave it? That's what I would recommend. Just leave it in front of them. If they're throwing food, you take it away and you say, I see you're not ready for this. And you take it away, and then you just as best that you can, don't react. Every time you come to the table, every time you come to the high chair, you really have to do a check on your energy. If you're coming up to them going, oh crap, I know this is not gonna go down well, this is not gonna work, you're super stressed, just eat, I just want you to eat. You come with that energy, then they're going to totally pick that up, and then you're not gonna see success no matter what you want. So when you're short order cook, what that means is you put something down, and if they won't eat it, then you go back to the fridge or you go back to the kitchen, and then you come up with something that you know that they're going to eat. Something less healthy than what the first offering was. Now, there was a study that was done, and I'm going to explore on this on a blog post as well. There was a study, I think it was last week maybe it was on Monday, on More in the Morning on News Talk 1010. I heard Dan is his name, sort of sciencey guy, bringing out all the new studies and things like that. And he said, there's a new study on picky eaters. So of course I tuned in. And it basically said all the things that I have said for years. So it's nice when a study kind of backs up things that I've said. So you are getting information that now actually has a study, even though I've said it for years. So it's that these kids need to try these foods over and over and over again. Yes, there can be foods that, it doesn't matter what you do with it, they know it's in there and they're just not going to have it. So whether it's the texture of avocado, or maybe it is something green, or, a green bean or a pea or something like that. So there's a few things depending on the age of your child. If you're dealing with a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, by about age 3, that's when reason kicks in. What that means is that you can say that there is a consequence to something. Wow, did you just eat that broccoli? Did you finish the peas on your plate? When we go to the park today, let's see if you're faster. Consequence, there's reason. There's a reason for them eating the broccoli, or them eating the apple, or them eating whatever fruit or vegetable. And I'm just kind of picking on fruits and vegetables here because that tends to be the thing that parents have the most difficulty with. So looking at that, there's a reason. If you're dealing with a 1 and a 2-year-old, that's almost a separate topic. You can bring in reason. You can give them that a little bit too, but knowing that it's not quite going to land until they're closer to about 3 years of age. So your 6-year-old, absolutely, if they will not eat a vegetable, then show them cause and effect. Wow, we just went to the park, we played baseball, you were at soccer, you were at dance, whatever it happens to be. I wonder if you wouldn't have run out of steam, or if you would have run faster, or make it relevant, not, just like it's, the worst thing in the world, but make it relevant for them and say, wow, could you having eaten something a bit better? Or could you have eaten those vegetables, or finished your dinner, or had your lunch, or had that snack? Or you have to tie the two things together, that there is a cause and effect with food. And then after that, it is, and hopefully will become, an informed choice. For instance, my kids are 13 and 15. 2 weeks ago, my daughter, they flip back and forth between their father and myself. I'm divorced. And my eldest daughter came over came to me, and I said, wow, your skin. And this is something that happens in teenagers. And she had a lot more pimples and acne and things like that going on. And, we really, really do a lot with food to help the skin. And I said, please tell me, what have you been eating this week? And I wanted to know that because I needed to know, is it hormones? Is it something else? Or is it really to do with the food that you've come in? Now, because I've done this with my kids the whole of their life, she said, Mom, I know. But I said, what have you been eating? And then she listed all the crap foods, all the junk food. There was, Twizzlers around everywhere and all those kind of things. So she knew the cause and effect before I even kind of really had to say anything to her. So please know that you planting these seeds of reasons and of understanding now does help later on. So if you're dealing with a 6-year-old, you have to start now. You have to say and talk to them about, wow, you know what? I just watched your energy kind of at the end of that dance number, or at the end of the game, or at the end of this, at the end of that. Just notice those little things, and then say, you know what? Let's try some water. let's go have a glass of water before you go back on, and let's see how you feel. If you don't, for them, put those two things together, they're never going to learn it. And there are a lot of adults, obviously, that don't put those two things together, that, oh my gosh, my skin, it's not vibrant, it's not lovely, I'm constipated because I haven't drunk any water. Like, there's cause and effect to so many things. I'm not saying food is everything, but we can absolutely influence this. So number one was don't be a short order cook, and head back to the kitchen or head back in and bring your kids out something else, because no matter what their age is, they know your behavior and they will follow that. They don't necessarily follow your words, they follow what you do. So as soon as you head off, they're like, haha, got her, or I got dad, I'm getting my yogurt, I'm getting my cheese, I'm getting my whatever it is that the go-to is, just so you feel like they've eaten enough. Your kids actually know how much they need to eat. It's a lot of the time down to us. And I'm not saying that, they shouldn't have like 10, they could have 10 peas and 5 green beans and a little bit of chicken or meat or fish or something like that. Could that be something for your child? And that's the amount of food that they're satiated with. They're good. Then fine, you have to respect that. And if you're seeing that you're packing their lunches and it's coming home, or you're giving them a plate and it's just never finished, cut back on the amount that you're putting on there. And as well as that, so let's take a little plate that you've got for your child, and you put down corn or peas, or let's just say 2 vegetables with something else. Now, knowing that some kids just like their vegetables, just, a nice little pile of peas or a few broccoli trees or whatever that looks like. Of course, we can mix it in. I'll talk about that in a minute. You can mix it into your pasta sauce. There's a great recipe in my book for the chicken burgers, for the lasagna, for, God, it's just popped right out of my head, for the pasta sauce. There's great recipes where you can put a million vegetables in. And honestly, whenever I make any of the dishes from my book, still for adults, it's like, wow, why, like, this is so tasty. What have you done? It's like, I piled in a ton of vegetables. It makes an incredibly delicious meal, no matter what it is that you're doing. Okay, so back to the little plate. You've got a little pile of peas, which they don't love. And then you've got some broccoli or some rice or something like that. You've got whatever the plate is. So you put the food down knowing that one of them is not really loved. And then you say, oh gosh, wow, you inhaled your broccoli. Isn't that, that's a parent's dream. But let's just say that they inhaled their sweet potatoes. They inhaled whatever. They go for the thing that they like. And then you say, oh gosh, would you like some more? Okay, well, you finish those, whatever they don't really like. I don't like it, don't like it. Okay, 3, just have 3. Have 3 pieces of something, have 3 bites, have 3 something. You're going to be fine. It's just, I know it's not really to your taste, but it's good food and it's good fiber and it's going to make you run faster. So again, bring in the reason depending on the age. Then you go off to the kitchen and then you kind of keep peeking back, and then you can bring back a little bit of what they love. But if you put something on their plate, the intention is that they're going to consume at least some of it. And knowing that they don't love it is totally fine. They're gonna survive through it. It's just food, but it is nutritious food. So saying this to your kids I know it's not really your favorite, but let's just try, because maybe when you're at Jimmy's place, maybe they'll just give you a whole plate of this, and it's kind of take it as practice, because when you get to Jimmy's house and that's all that they have, it's kind of good just to sit down and be a good guest. And not that you have to eat everything just to be a good guest. You can certainly voice, this is not really to my taste, but at least that you can have a couple of bites and that you can get through it. So there's so much to offering and really putting in effort. And I know it's you're so tired. You're so tired of making food and putting it down and them not eating it. So what you can do is, my favorite Alison Schaefer teaching was when, then. She talks about when this happens, then this will happen. And it's fantastic for anyone, not only toddlers or children. When you finish that small bite, or when you have those 3 bites, then we can move on to something else. When you have that avocado, I know it's not your favorite, but you know what, today, why don't we mix it with some banana? Maybe I'll put some pears, some blueberries, the fabulous fruit recipe in my book. When you do these things, and you say to them, when you finish that, then I'm gonna go and bring out the cheese. Let's say that that is a good consequence, that you're bringing out something that they absolutely love. So just a few ideas, and just to say that this is a phase and a stage, and some 6, 8, 10-year-olds out there, a lot of parents will be saying, it's still a phase and a stage. What are you talking about, lady? So it really comes down to what is it that we're going to do about it. And it's up to you to decide that this is going to stress you out so much that every time you sit down for a meal, you're like prepared for whatever's going, the arguments and all of those kind of things. Talk about it outside of the situation. Talk about, okay, we're going to sit down now and we're going to try a little bit of this. If you say that before everyone sits down at the table and the plate just goes down in front of them, then it's going to be different. Have your kids in the kitchen while you're preparing. Have them mixing and stirring. Have them help you chop. Oh, I don't really like mushrooms. Well, come on in the kitchen. Why don't you help me? This is how we clean mushrooms. Here's a knife. Mushrooms are a great place to start when you're teaching your kids how to be in the kitchen and chop and cook, because they don't really need a super sharp knife to cut through mushrooms. They're my favorite first foods for them to start chopping and helping out with, and they can get the little brush or clean them with some paper towel or something like that, and then give them one or two and just say, hey, can you just chop those up any way you think that you like? And then you can cook them, you can have them raw, whatever, but then you say, wow, these are Sally's mushrooms. We're gonna have them. I wonder, are they gonna taste better because Sally cut them? Sally cut them into star shapes. Sally cut them into quarters. Sally cut them into slices. Look what a great job Sally did with the mushrooms. Anything that you can do to empower them around being in the kitchen with you also really just brings a great relationship to do with food. Sweet peppers. Take a sweet pepper, chop it in half, show them all the seeds. Yeah, we get rid of that. We chop them in half. We get rid of that white bit. Here, while we're here at the chopping board, you've got your little chair. They're standing up, or those fantastic, I don't remember what they're called, but there's sort of like a little, not a cage, but a little thing for them to stand on, and it's got edges on all sides. My kids just had those IKEA chairs, and they would pull them up with the back against the cupboards, and then they were there and they were ready. And while I'm sitting there chopping and they're watching, or they're playing with stuff, or they bring their own, and then it's like, oh, here. Oh, I wonder what a red pepper tastes like versus a green pepper. Oh, let's see. Here you go. Here's a green pepper. Oh, here's a red pepper. Oh, here's a yellow pepper. Let's find another one. Oh my gosh, next time we go, let's see if we can find a purple pepper. Did you know there are such things as purple peppers? We must go and find them, because as you expand what your kids are looking at, what they're checking out, everything that's going on in the kitchen, they also really need to be a part of. So please be sure that you include them in that. And if they've had most of their dinner at the chopping board, fine. Doesn't matter when they're eating it as much as it does that they're consuming it. And then when you get to the table, you say, oh, well, you already had 5 peppers, so I'm just going to put 1 on your plate. And then everybody else is going to have their peppers right now. So there's so many variations to thinking. We have to sit down, especially those kids that go to daycare. Parents, you're coming home, you're picking them up on the way home, and you sit them down and you just want to have that family meal, and you want everybody to eat so that you can just go put them to bed and then exhale from your day. But they don't want to eat. They're really not into it. That could truthfully be because they've eaten so much during the day or by the time they sit down, by the time everybody's sitting down for dinner, you're kind of past it. And kids are like, no, you know what? I'm really just kind of ready for bed. And I've eaten my snacks and I've had my food throughout the day. So I'm not really that hungry for dinner. So do a bit of a check on how's the flow to the day as well. So if you're picking your kids up from daycare, they're coming home, or one of my daughters, she would come home from school and she would almost have dinner. Like her after school snack was dinner. So by the time it came to dinner, or the quantity of her afternoon snack, she was starving after school. So that when it came time for dinner, she would hardly eat anything. And they'd be like, come on, just eat a little bit more, eat a little bit more. Whether you're at home or not, to actually see that whoever's looking after your child or your children, ask how much have they eaten, or what is the flow to that day, because maybe dinner time, the one meal that you have with them every day, is actually just not happening because they're genuinely eating enough throughout the day. So just a few ideas to think about. Now let's talk about the nutrients. Now, this is very, very important. So this loop that I was talking about, this loop that goes back and forth between hunger, tell the brain, okay, now stomach, I'm full, now tell the brain, stop eating. So there's a lot of communication and hormones that are going on to do with eating, but we must have the right nutrients for communication to happen. For us, we must have the right nutrients for great growth, development, all of those kind of things. So the first thing that's really, really important for development is essential fats. So this is cod liver oil. I hope this isn't backwards on the screen. I may not have flipped it. I apologize. So cod liver oil, essential fats. If you have a capsule, you can bite a hole in it and squeeze the contents into your kid's mouth. They can just chew it and splat it. Not Pediatrovite. I don't think I have it in stock right now. There's we call them little splat guys. Pedia Burst, that's the name of them. They're also really good. So the kids just have three of them every day. Teaspoon, tablespoon of this for parents, teaspoon of this for your kids every day. Really helps to nourish the brain, nourish every single cell in their body, because fats are so, so, so important. And are you getting fish into your children? Maybe not. Are you as adults getting fish into you? Maybe not. It's one of those foods that just don't always make it into the roster every single week, let alone 2 to 3 times a week, which is what we need to do. Nuts and seeds, of course, are fantastic. Just more limiting when you're going out. Sunflower seed butter is tremendous. Pumpkin seed butter is very safe. The Go Faster granola bars in my book, even though it calls for almond butter, you can totally make it with a school safe nut butter. And those, if you look back on Sprout Right, I've posted it somewhere, the recipe somewhere, if you don't have my book. They've been going forever, and they are an absolute favorite. Parents love them, kids love them, but just make it with a school safe nut butter or seed butter, not really nut butter, a seed butter, and they can take it to school. So they're going to get some of their good fats there. But this is the guide. So this is available on sproutright.com. And if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, this week we'll have a special for any supplement orders that you want to make. So make sure you're signed up for sproutright.com for our newsletter. It'll just be a real quick one this week. So the other thing that you need to be aware of is minerals. Minerals are so important for every single function in the body, and we get so low in them so easily. You may have heard how important magnesium is for muscles, for mood, for sleep, all of those kind of things. It's a really, really important mineral. It's kind of starting to overtake calcium, because we get calcium from a whole bunch of places. So we got to balance that out. But really, again, when it comes time to that communication between the brain and the stomach, and really just all the functions, even digesting, we have to digest, absorb, and assimilate our foods, and our stomach has to work properly in order to do that. From the digestive enzymes that are there, the pancreas working to squirt all those enzymes in to break everything down, the digestive system working well to then eliminate everything. And of course, we need fiber and water to do that. So minerals. The number one supplement that I give to any picky eater are minerals. And the easiest way to get that into your child is through a drop. So BioCell salts. These are 12 minerals, the 12 essential minerals that we need for all functions in our body. So this is Physica Energetics. This is the BioCell salts. You can also use tissue salts that are, you can hear, they're little pills that they just dissolve in their mouth, and this is called the melange tissue salts. So this is all 12. I find this one easier because you just take it, and I don't have a bottle with me here. Actually, I do. You just take it, and then you just go and drop it right in their mouth. Just like that. Dosage depends on the age of the child, but because this is more of a homeopathically prepared multi-mineral, then it's not one that you can give too much of, or too little, yes, but not too much of. If they got a few extra drops in a day, it's not going to be a problem. So the BioCell salts are my absolute favorite for any age of child. They taste great. They love them on their tongue. And you just give those maybe two times a day, once a day, and again, age kind of dependent. Would depend on how much you're going to give. 5 drops or so is a pretty average dose. 10 if they're a little bit older, 6 and above, but that's absolutely tremendous. So you do need to email me for this. It's not available on sproutright.com, but you do need to email me for this. So the tissue salts are so important. You can offer your child a multi. I've got the Pediatrovite, which is a favorite of mine. So this is a multi as well. Sometimes I'll put both of them together depending on what's going on with my client. Sometimes they need it, sometimes they don't. If they've been sick, yes, they probably need this. If their pickiness has come after some sort of sickness, then yes, I would probably do this. But this one is the one that carries on for the longest. Pediatrovite is also tremendous to be able to give them a few more vitamins. So there's some B vitamins, some vitamin C and things like that in there. But I do also suggest that you give them an absolute vitamin C. So anyway, all of those products are on sproutright.com. And if you need a specific recommendation, then we could probably set up a quick consultation for a call just to kind of see what it is that they need, and we can put something together. So some of the supplements are really, really important, and I do believe need to go in every single day. And of course, we've always got something like the HMF Child. This one has the multi in it as well. So this is just a chewable, which the kids really love. HMF Powder, of course, is fantastic. So these are just little chewables, blackcurrant flavor. So HMF Child is great. Fit for School is a particularly loved one as well for those kids who are at school. Sometimes they just need to jump right into something like HMF Intensive, although that's really more for adults, but especially if your kids are sick and they've got sick and it's antibiotics and all of those kind of things, and I tend to jump in with a much stronger 25 billion HMF Intensive rather than just kind of 11 billion is what HMF Powder has in it. Also fantastic. This guy has, let me see, 12.5 billion in it. It's about the numbers. Let me know if you need any more in there, and information on that too. But also something like fluorosyntropy, this is antibiotic resistant. So if you have a situation where you've got ear infection after ear infection after ear infection, or sickness where you're just going through this crazy time of having antibiotics, then this is the one that I recommend. And then perhaps at the end, you can switch back to HMF Intensive or something like that. Now, I haven't seen any questions come up while I've been live, but if you're watching this live and you have some questions, please write down underneath. If not, once this is posted and you're maybe watching the replay of this, if you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Just pop them in underneath. Also, the resources again for you are sproutright.com. You can always contact for a one-on-one consultation, because sometimes you just need to get out of this headspace of, oh my God, I've got a picky eater. And I've had parents come to me with 6 or 7 month olds and tell me that their child is picky. So sometimes it's like, oh, hang on a minute. What are you calling picky? So if your child is eating a variety of fruits and vegetables and there's a few that they just don't like and they won't have, it kind of happens sometimes. There are people that just don't like oatmeal. They don't like the texture. They never have. They never will. I think they can get past it myself if they kept trying it and realize it's actually not that bad. But, it's stuck in their brain, it's stuck in their head. So how much effort do you put into something like that versus trying to get them to eat a vegetable or to get them to have some hummus? Because a lot of these things can be to do with texture. So pick your battles, work with the success that you have, and always insert something new that they haven't tried before, that they don't love. Talk about it out of the situation. Get your kids in the kitchen. Do not yourself run back to the kitchen and be that short order cook and bring them out something else just so that they eat. They learn that pattern every single time. They see it and they know it's going to come, and then you sit there and think, I've just made this great meal. I've made this lasagna. This is supposed to work, and you're not gonna like it. I sat at the table with my eldest, I don't know, she must have been about 5. And she's like, I don't like this. I'm not going to eat it. I don't want to have it. It's the lasagna was all falling apart. And it was such a tremendous lesson because I made her have it. I said, well, this is dinner. So come on, let's just try a bite. Let's just try a bite. You're not gonna know. You always have to try food in this house. In my house, you always have to try the food. If it's not to your taste, we'll discuss it after. Anyway, she had this bite of lasagna, and truthfully, it became her most favorite food ever. So because we had that situation, then I brought that reasoning back in every single time. She would say, no, I don't like the look of it. No, I don't want to have it. All of the things that she would end up saying about, no, I don't like it. No, I don't like hummus. No, I don't like this. No, I don't like peppers. Took her till she was 8 until she enjoyed any kind of pepper. I don't like oatmeal. I don't like hummus. All these kind of things that she didn't like. But I said, it could be the next lasagna. You're not going to know until you try it. So hold on to those things. Pay attention to the lessons and the things that are going on with your child, and bring it back again and teach them that connection. Because that reasoning, as soon as they hit about 3, they understand the reasoning, and it's a superpower for you to then be able to say to them, wow, let's see if you run faster. Let's see if you bike faster. Let's see if you climb that slide faster at the park when you go and eat that food. Even I've sat at tables and I've been like, okay, let me check out your muscles. Oh yeah, oh, they're not too bad. Yeah, okay, go and eat some green beans. Let me see. Let me know when you're done your green beans. And also playing like this takes the pressure off of you and off of them. So then he ate a green bean and he looked up at me and I said, oh, you're done. Great. Okay, let's check it out. So I checked it out and I think that feels stronger. Oh, but you know what? I'm not really sure. Try another green bean. Another green bean went in. And I said, let me know when you're done. So he said, done. And then I was like, oh. Let's see if it makes it even stronger. And we went through this until a whole pile of green beans was done. He had a blast. I had a blast. Parents were sitting there going, I don't believe you just did that. But because I'm not the parent, I'm not invested in that. Could I have done that with my children? Yes, I could have, but it would have taken me an extra moment to get myself to that place where it's like, I'm not going to get pissed off about this dinner. I'm not going to get upset. Let's just go and have some fun. And then you change up everything. You change up your energy and you go into the situation and everything feels different. And hooray, success. So try and think outside of the box in that way as much as you can, and just kind of go and shake yourself, shake it out, put on some music beforehand, have some music playing in the kitchen, have them come in, dance around, give them a bean, dance around with a bean. All of those crazy things and fun things are so important to creating an amazing relationship with food. So you've got to keep going on with that. Oh, great. What do I think, Jacqueline? Thank you. Giving them a supplement of probiotics and the omega. Hang on, let me see if I can see more. Is the liver cod oil for the omega? Yes. So cod liver, sorry, that's pediatric. Here we go. Cod liver oil. That one is the omega-3, which is so important for the development of the brain, IQ, huge links to just clarity, mental focus, being able to kind of complete a task and not be all over the place, and those kind of things. So great for parents, great for me. I have to take it all the time because of course I'm like, multitasking to the max with everything that I have to do. So it does really help, especially if they're not getting it from food. This is where a supplement comes in, where you're not getting something from food, where we take this and then you think, okay, let's start with fish once a week. Great recipe for fish cakes in my book as well. And also on, when you first go to sproutright.com, and then there's a pop-up there for a free meal plan. If you haven't been to sproutright.com lately, for a free meal plan. So that, I think the fish cake recipe is in there as well. So you can just get that for free for signing up for the newsletter. So the cod liver oil, really important, and then focus on getting fish into the diet. Just slowly. It can be some tuna, it can be some salmon. Those are the ones that have a lot more omegas in them. Trout is fantastic. I talk about the apple butter recipe that's also in my book as an accompaniment. I smear that on top of fish and then bake it and then put that on the table, and the kids just love it. Well, adults too, if they're not really fish eaters as well. So there's a fairly good download on some tips to do for your picky eaters. And there's a lot more that I can say about this. You have to look at how much milk are they having. Are they filled up on that? So perhaps I'll put together something a little more structured, a course that that you can go through. So let me know if you found this useful below, and any more questions that you have, because if I get a lot of response, then I'll definitely put something together. And also know that I've got books in stock, so you can just order from sproutright.com. And later on this week, on Thursday, Friday, when the newsletter goes out, if you're not already a subscriber, get that free meal plan, for goodness sake, on sproutright.com. And then also this week I'll send out, we'll have a promotion on some of the supplements that I've talked about today. So then, so that'll be worthwhile for you to purchase them from sproutright.com. All right. Thank you so much for your for joining in today. Your question, Jacqueline, and for anybody that's watching this later, please post them below, and we'll keep the conversation going. And thank you from Jacqueline. And if they do need to eat fish once a week, is it okay to still give them the supplement as well? Yes, absolutely. Really, the fish oils can go in every single day, unless they're having fish almost every day or a good quantity of it every day. Then supplementing is definitely not too much. You're absolutely fine to give them a teaspoon of that cod liver oil every single day, or it would depend on the other supplements. There's more details about that in sproutright.com, so you'll find all the levels and things like that, and how much you want them to take every single day. That's found in my book too. All right, so have a beautiful day here in Toronto, which is where I'm coming from live in my home office. It's a beautiful sunny day, wall-to-wall blue sky. Thank goodness, because boy, oh boy, has it been a while since we've really seen some tremendous weather, even though it's the end of May, or kind of almost the end of May. So have a beautiful, healthy day, and I really look forward to connecting with you again. Take good care. Bye.